What's up, guys? Today we're making a sign. Alright, guys. So, right now, my GoPro's actually dead, so I'm using the phone to film this part. But, I'm gonna go ahead and make a video on how I make my signs. I do have a CNC, and I do recommend a CNC if you're a woodworker. If you're into props and stuff, I look more into a CO2 laser because that has, you can cut finer things and more, I guess, you can cut acrylics and different stuff like that a little better than a CNC can. My CNC will do it, but the CO2 laser is faster and works better. But I'm going to show you what my process is for making my signs. I use a 1/2-inch birch plywood, and I normally cut everything out with a 1/4-inch bit. I do have smaller bits and I'll swap them out, but I think right now I'm going to leave it with the bit it has. So there's different ways about it. So one way, my customers they'll send me, because a lot of them are in the party business, they'll send me the fonts that the customers want and stuff like that, and I just replicate it, put it on a piece of wood, and then send it to them. And I have other customers that are like, this is their first time buying a sign and they want it, and you can charge whatever you feel your time is. I can kind of do these a little faster because I've done them so much, and then a lot of the stuff I do like Oh Baby, Mi Bautismo, what is it? There's a bunch, but they're just the same thing. So I already have the file for most of them, so I just put a piece of wood and hit cut, and I can recut those out. But in this case today, the guy wants Amor, I think he said, and I haven't cut that out yet, so I gotta make it. So this is what I do. Alright, so I hope y'all can see it well. So one of the main things I do is I'll get on Etsy and I'll look up what they want. I look up what they want, and then I put silhouette, SVG, and sign, because that's how I cut them out. And then I'll go through them, and if I find one that I think looks cool or looks okay, I will take a screenshot of it, or I'll take a picture of it and send it to the customer. The one thing is, I try to keep it to like 4 or 5 different fonts. See, like I cut that sign out, so I bought that file and I just keep cutting them out. But with me with the CNC, I look for this. I look for all the letters to be touching, so that it all comes out as one piece, because it's a bit of a pain when you have stuff like this that's 3 different, well, that's 3 different words, so that doesn't matter. But like when you have a letter hanging off, because then they need to figure out how to hang the letter plus that, and then a lot of times this goes on like flower walls or stuff like that you can't really see. There goes Te Amo. That'd be 2 signs. Be hello, welcome. But yeah, I actually got to make this next week. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. This is the only one that's on here. I don't know if the guy's gonna like it, so what I'm gonna end up doing is taking a picture of it and sending it to him to see what he says. Yeah, so I try to keep it just a couple fonts. It's because if you send somebody too many, it ends up taking you longer. Like this right here, I'm technically not getting, well, I'm gonna get paid for it, but I'm not getting paid for the time that I'm wasting designing it in this case, because this customer's bought a bunch of stuff. Well, they bought multiple stuff from me, but what I always end up doing is I go to the font. Yeah, I go to the font, and then I look up their calligraphy, which is that, and then I put the text in. It's kind of weird recording and doing it, and then I do it in large, and so this is pretty much going to give me different fonts of calligraphy, and that's usually what they want. But the things I try to stay away from is thin stuff, because I'm making it out of wood, and if it gets too thin, the bit will either rip through it or it'll crack. So that's pretty much it. I'm gonna scroll through these and look at the stuff I like. See, like, this is all together, but I don't know if the customer's gonna like it. But yeah, I'm gonna scroll through it, find a couple, send it to him, and then see what he picks, and then I'll show you what I do with the rest. Alright, so I went ahead and sent him, I think, 6 different ones. Whenever I'm looking through fonts, I only go through the first 3 pages. I don't go through any more because they're all more or less the same. Usually the customers already have an idea, and that helps out. And then stuff like this, so like as soon as he approves it and he says which one he wants, I go ahead and charge them, because a lot of times I didn't back then, and whenever they wouldn't come pick them up, and then I would sit here with signs that nobody has ordered yet. So with stuff like this, with like personal stuff, I do ask for the payment up front, and then they can just pick it up. Usually this is the same day stuff, so like I'll have this and then I'll cut it out. Or if I am gonna set up the CNC for just signs, I try to get a couple orders, so that way I'm not just cutting out one sign, I'm cutting out a bunch. In this case, I'm just cutting out one, but I haven't done this in a while, and I haven't ran my CNC for this stuff in a while, so it's not a problem for me. Plus, I needed to film something, so it all works out. But yeah, so I use the font. There's a couple different font makers and font stuff, and I just so what I do is I pick a font, right? Let's say they like it. All right, let's say they like this one. So I click it, I make it as big as it can get, which is large, and then I use the snipping tool for pictures, and then I hit new. And then I'll save it as whatever. Oh shit, well, yeah, I'll save it. So after it's saved, this one doesn't matter because he hasn't picked it, but yeah, I'll just save it. But that's what I do. I don't download the font and keep it. I probably should, but once this is done and I already cut it out and I take pictures of it, well, that's what people are gonna want. If they want something different, they can switch out the font. I don't know what happened there. Yeah, they can switch out the font. But yeah. So I'm gonna wait for him to reply, see what he says. I have other little random things to work on, and I'm painting something, so I'm gonna do that. Meanwhile, he replies. All right, guys. I'm not gonna lie. It's the next day. He did get back to me, but it was already late, and I wasn't in the shop anymore. So I'm doing it now. Yesterday. But yeah, so I use Easel. So on Easel, they have a feature that's it says import file or picture, whatever the hell it is. And what I do is I pretty much import the screenshot, and in here you get to play with it, just to smooth out some of the lines, or just to check it out, so you have an idea of how it's gonna look. The more you play with it, the more see how it's getting bolder. And pretty much once you get it the way you like it, you can go ahead and hit import, and then it turns it here, and then here you play with the size. So, and then the cut. I want to cut the outside out, so that's pretty much what it is. And then I'm cutting it out completely out of plywood. So there's that. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and play with this because he wants it a specific size, and then after this I can set up the CNC and cut it up. Alright. I'm gonna keep messing with this, and then I'll get back to y'all when it's done. Alright guys, so it's done. This is pretty much what it looks like. This one's gigantic. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I didn't show any of the CNC process because every CNC is a little different. The program I did use was Easel, so that's from Inventables. It's easy. It's easy. If you get into CNCs, that's probably one of the easiest ones you can use, especially if you're not getting into anything intricate. Easel works fine. The customer's gonna paint this one. Yeah, the customer's gonna paint this one. He's actually gonna be here probably with the next, probably him right there. But yeah, so this is just a quick video on how I make these kind of signs. Go ahead, like, subscribe, and I guess kind of sort of ask me questions and let me know if y'all want like a more detailed video, or y'all do want to see my CNC or anything like that, or if y'all got another project idea. All right, see you next time.